you. Thank you very much, Boris, and good evening, everyone. I am too very honored and delighted to be asked to say a few words to you, particularly after I've just arrived after 29 hours flight from Adelaide to here. So if you're planning a trip to Australia, which I hope that you will, please don't do it in one go. See if you can have some in-between stops. Of course, on Friday morning, I have to reverse the process and go back another 29 hours. But no, I'm delighted to be here, and I'm honored to be asked to be on the judging panel. I think this award, in fact, the Competency Center for Corporate Data Quality is a great initiative of the University of St. Gallen and others that Boris and others have led to actually bring research and the knowledge that universities have in partnership with industry. That is the best way to actually have impact in a particular area. And certainly information management is one of those areas that is so important. And it's more important now because of this little phrase, big data. There is no doubt that all of you know about big data. You've heard big data, because how could you possibly not? The hype has reached such a crescendo that we haven't seen since the .com, I think. Let's hope it doesn't have the same fate as the .com. But ladies and gentlemen, it is extraordinary times that we live in. IT, information technology, has actually changed our lives in many different ways. Every day I'm amazed, even though I'm in it and trying to keep up with it, every day I'm amazed how things have changed from the time that I wrote my first computer program on a DEC PDP-8 back in the late 70s, which is not really that long ago. Very small program, to what you can actually do today is totally amazing. What was in large computer rooms a few years ago was on your desktop yesterday. And what was on your desktop yesterday is in the palm of your hand today. And in fact, it's going to be in your bloodstream tomorrow. Seriously, the US FDA has already approved nanosensor technology to be injected into the human body and be Wi-Fi'd so that it can collect data about all of us. Send it to your iPhone, send it to the people that collect your personal medical data and monitor you for various diseases and so on. It is amazing what IT has done and what it's doing in terms of impacting our lives, the way we work, the way we live, the way we communicate, the way we look after each other. It is totally amazing. And of course, all of us are now beginning to, as information technology is mediating, facilitating, driving, and sometimes actually disrupting a lot of different businesses. I think the business area is littered with companies that just don't exist today because they've been disrupted by IT. I don't know if you know Uber, no doubt you do, right? Do you know of the company Uber? You've heard of Kodak and you've heard of other companies like Borders and so on that were disrupted. Uber is likely to disrupt the taxi business. And I actually believe even universities will be disrupted. So that'll be an interesting thing. I think that the world is really changing very fast, and we are beginning now to be in a truly intelligent, interconnected, and instrumented world. And as we move through this intelligent and instrumented and interconnected world, we seem to be leaving a vapor trail of data wherever we go. In fact, I believe that the virtual trail of a physical reality is probably one of the best definitions of big data. I know a few more, by the way. One of them is that big data is like teen sex. Everybody thinks that everybody else is doing it. So they want to be doing it as well, but nobody knows how to do it. Big data. Big data is a little bit like that at the moment. But you may find that actually all of this amount of data, I mean, no doubt you've heard of the V's of big data, the velocity, the volume, the velocity, and the variety of data, is really going to bring a lot of different opportunities for us. Challenges for information management, but also opportunities as well. Because the volumes of data we could probably deal with in many ways, in the analytic ways, but what about information management? What about information quality? In the past, we've had data warehouses. By the way, we still have them and we will continue to have them. But we had a lot of data that was structured data. We put in the data in the data warehouses, and before we would ask some intelligent questions, like what is the best product, the top selling product in a particular store, we had to actually go through and profile the data and clean the data. That is okay for about 20% of the data that we normally have at the moment. In fact, there is another 80%, some people say even more than that, which is not in the traditional relational model in databases, but it's actually held in other data repositories, the unstructured data. How can we deal with that to extract value? And a lot of people are now beginning to think of that, but not think of all of the important information management aspects of it. Most of the data that we collect is repurposed data. It's data that we have for one intent, but actually now we want to use for another purpose. For that to actually happen effectively, we need to make sure we understand the context in which the data was generated and the context in which that we're going to use. Otherwise, we could have a lot of issues with quality of the decisions and quality of the analytics that we will get. It's important for us, therefore, to be understanding metadata, understanding provenance of data, and actually dealing with that. And we need, as a community, to think of different ways to enhance information quality and information management in ways that we haven't thought of before. Because if we don't do that, then the benefits of big data and the benefits of the analytics that the companies and the hype is telling us may not be realized. But at the same time, if we don't focus only on information quality and look at information security, which is a huge area, and then even information privacy, which we haven't really given it the respect that it deserves. For example, the Internet of Things. I think you all know of the Internet of Things and the sense, I think you call it the industrial internet here in Germany. IoT, or the Internet of Everything, as Cisco calls it, is basically another level of the billions of sensors that are already there that would collect information, that vapor trail that I spoke of, collect information and process it. And you may say, well, big deal, that's machine to machine. But actually it's not. You know, think of the data that is collected about you. You may be able, and in fact it's possible now, for organizations to collect, like Google and others, to collect data about when you pick up your kids from school, how long you spend in the gym, how long you spend in your kitchen, how long you spend in your bedroom. Now, if I had all this data about you, would you feel somehow invaded? Would you think that your privacy is a little bit compromised? And who owns that data? Do you do it? For instance, there are several million people walking around the world with wireless heart monitors, right? Now, those heart monitors are transmitting data to someone who is likely to care for you. Your heart rate and your heart condition is monitored in real time. That's fine, but who owns that data? And what can that data be used for other than the first intended purpose of that data? So we do have some information management challenges, and it is an area that is so challenging that academic researchers like us are not going to solve the problems unless they work closely with industry, unless they work closely with you, the members and participants of this great initiative of the Competency Center for CDQ. And this award is also a great initiative of the impact that you have, a growing area. This is in its second year. The award is in its second year. And I think that the leadership of the CDQ program, as well as all the entrants of the competition, not just the finalists, okay, and the shortlisting finalists and the winners, but all of the entrants, I think, should be congratulated. Thank you very much.